Mr. Speaker, and to my friend from Missouri, thank you. Actually, sometimes I come behind these microphones and often what I want to share, what I need to share, it's my therapy, is a bit dour. And it's sometimes fun to listen to someone that actually has happy and joyous. All right, now that the uplifting portion of this program is over, let's get to the facts. Mr. Speaker, or now Madam Speaker Pro Tem, you see the number, 35 trillion. Guess when we hit it? We should be very, very excited and proud of ourselves. We did something that so many economists said we would never get to this quick. My math says this coming Friday, 3 p.m., the United States gross debt will cross over 35 trillion. Now understand, that's not the way Europeans calculate our debt, which they calculate our debt dramatically higher because of our obligated unfunded liabilities. But you're going to watch the Treasury Friday about 3 p.m. post up a number, $35 trillion. We did it. Congratulations. And how many people have you heard come find the microphone today or this week understanding, wanting to talk about that? What we've gotten is people coming behind the microphone and not telling the truth. We all want to protect Social Security. The way you protect Social Security is you know the math and how it actually works. We're on track in a decade to double senior poverty. But God forbid any of us tell the truth about math. Because the truth gets you unelected and a bunch of really angry ads at home. So this place runs around and avoids telling the truth. So let's walk through another little factoid. My math basically says this year, 45.68% of all the income tax collections, receipts, your government takes in just cover the cost of interest. I'd been coming behind the microphone and saying, hey, interest in 2024, this fiscal year, would be somewhere around a little less than 1.2 trillion. I apparently have that wrong. It's probably going to come in about $1,140 to $60 billion. Either way, I'm off a fraction. But 45.68% of every dime we're collecting in your income tax now just pays interest. And I've tried to say over and over and over at home and other places, and you get people to just stare at you and go, huh? Who really runs this government? Seriously, it's an honest question. I need you to think like adults. Maybe those who actually went to a finance class. Who actually now runs this government? I'm going to argue the debt markets, the bond markets from around the world. If you have to bring almost 10 trillion to market this fiscal year, two and a quarter trillion virgin new issues because we're borrowing, that's like $75,000 to $80,000 a second right now, and the economy is good. The actual baseline data on GDP is good, and you're still burning almost $80,000 a second in borrowing. What happens the second you have a U.S. debt auction that's undersubscribed or there's not enough people there? What happens to U.S. interest rates? How much of the world goes into depression? But we're going to talk about that. Oh, God, no, because that would require math. That would require being serious. You know, we passed a bill here earlier today. I voted no on it. And look, they worked hard on it. They lowered the top line spending. But you got to deal with a really uncomfortable discussion. Every dime a member of Congress votes on is borrowed. Okay, let's process that. Every dime a member of Congress votes on is borrowed, and depending on some of the projections, about a quarter of Medicare. Social Security has its own trust fund. It runs out in like 9-10 years, and then we got to figure out what's going to happen there, and we can continue to get Democrats coming behind the microphone and lying about it. which makes it almost impossible to actually lay out the math and try to fix it. And remember, raising the cap, doing the Democrats' plan of $400,000 up and just raising the cap only covers about 38% of the shortfall. You had the president in that debate last month saying, if we just tax rich people 1% more, and I have a chart in here that will show it's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the shortfall. Remember, if you take $400,000 and up, the Democrats' definition of rich, and you tax them at 12.4%, you only cover 38% of the shortfall. So 1%, and this is the nature of our discussion. When every dime a member of Congress votes on is borrowed, is it moral to borrow money here to send it to entities around the country, even though their programs, many of them I love. I think they're the right thing. I just think the way we finance it isn't. Is it right to send them cash to that city, to that state, to that county, and they have their own taxing authority? They may have more cash in the bank than we do as a percentage. Do you borrow money? Because that's what we're doing today. We're borrowing money, and the crazy thing, when you do the adjustment for the ability for interest to be tax exempt from municipal debt, we have municipalities in this country that have a better credit rating, than the United States. Remember, Greece can sell a 10-year bond cheaper than the United States today. We are number 14 on the credit stack, meaning there's 13 other countries that can sell a 10-year bond cheaper than the United States. And if you read the instruments, if you read the Moody's, the S&Ps, their documents and their reps and warrants and their analysis on U.S. debt, they don't trust this place. They do not believe Congress, particularly because it's our job. We're supposed to be the adults in the room. We make policy. The White House carries it out. Remember that little thing, the Constitution? Maybe someone tried reading it. And they don't trust us. They don't, and they have no reason to trust us. How much discussion have you heard, anyone who's been listening to these microphones this week, heard people like me, which maybe I'm just an idiot for actually giving a damn, get behind these microphones and actually walk through the math and explain there's a way we keep our promises. There's a way we meet our obligation for the earned benefits. There's a way to make this work. You don't have a lot more time to keep screwing around, but if you do it in the next 3-4 years, this is another American century. I have my 8-year-old sitting over here. I also have a 2-year-old. My wife's exactly my age. Yes, I'm pathologically optimistic. The math says her generation will be the first generation to live poorer than her parents. Great morality, guys. Very proud of us. And anyone that listens to my diatribes here, thank you. I think this is almost like my therapy session, because I get angry all week long listening to absurdity and people saying things that mathematically have no basis in fact. 100% of the debt, and this makes everyone angry, and it's factual. 100% of the U.S. debt from today through the next 30 years is demographics. Huh? What's demographics? And this is your country's leadership. It's demographics. We got old as a society and we didn't set aside the resources to keep our promises. And since 1990, U.S. fertility has been falling. I won't use the word collapsing. But last year, we estimate 2023, 1.63%, maybe 1.62% fertility, meaning the United States now has fewer children than much of Europe. Now tell me how I build a pay-as-you-go system to keep our promises to those who paid into Social Security, those who paid into Medicare. And remember, the Medicare taxes you pay only cover about 38, 40%. And there is, okay. Oh, what the hell? Why don't we do this right now? Social Security does not add to the U.S. debt, technically. but the paying back the money that was borrowed from the Social Security Trust Fund does. So there's some $3 trillion that have been borrowed out.